Since 2001, the University of California Professional Development Institute has been proud to work with Los Angeles Unified School District. In partnership, we have made considerable achievements for English learners in ESL classrooms. LAUSD has received commendations and favorable research evaluations for this work. But while ESL students were making gains, the gains were often lost once the students entered core subject area classrooms. Year after year, LAUSD received citations for not providing English learners access to the core curriculum. Modifications were not being made to differentiate instruction between English learners and proficient English speakers in the same classroom.
First, they go to the science lab.
The Access to the Core Partnership came out of efforts by teachers and university faculty to address this need. The leadership of Local District 6 got it. We collaborated to address the needs of their English learners and received the Improving Teacher Quality Grant, Access to the Core.
45% of our fifth graders are proficient and advanced, and then they go to a middle school and drop to 27%. Why? And what are we going to do about it? If we keep doing the same things, we're not going to get anywhere. So our goal in this grant is to look at things a little bit differently.
Semi-annually, quarterly.
Yes. We pulled together experts in the content areas of language arts, English language development, mathematics, to provide some kind of leadership to help teachers develop materials for other teachers.
And most students will say yes, because they don't understand the concept of 10% of a different amount.
And so there's a lot of language, like markup.
Right.
She was saying a while ago, markup. And she hadn't seen that before.
The conversations that we have had are extremely interesting, mainly because it's not only in the math content, but also in the English content, so that we can get the concepts through to the students.
How will we assess whether they have the prerequisite knowledge? And then the students that don't have the prerequisite knowledge, what will we do to get them up to the point where they can learn this new standard, but not slow the whole class down? It's a daunting task, but it's something every teacher is facing.
I don't want a binder that will train a teacher on and then it sits on their desk or on their shelf and they know it's there and they know it's good, and when they have time they're going to get to it. I don't want that to happen.
How are we going to boil it down essentially to the most important parts to be able to put into the teacher's hands so that when the teacher needs some extra help, a little boost here and there, that the teacher doesn't have to scramble to 5 or 6 different resources and have all of that information there.
Teachers, to really be successful, they have to have a sense of the big picture. They have to have a sense of what the discipline is. Then they have to have a sense of what the standard says and how that relates to the real big picture of the discipline. And then how do they use their curriculum material to best inform the students, help the students learn these big ideas.
Tell me in simple words, what do your kids have to do if they're meeting the standard?
I want it to really affect change. I would hate to think that we spent all this time and we didn't fix something. So I want something fixed. I want those children learning.
How to make mathematics accessible to English learners, and it's specifically looking at not only how do we make the content accessible, but what are those linguistic issues that we want to be aware of? What's the linguistic impact of questions that we put before our students? The design of the training is that the strategies are not just looking at how to increase the academic language, and they're not just looking at how to increase conceptual development, but how to do both. And that's what answers the needs of English learners.
The word bank is at the bottom. You have 16 words. So we're going to get started. Everybody filled out the cards? We're going to start with the easy one. X is equal to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac, everything divided by 2a. They score really well on the periodic assessments. They're great calculators. You give them a formula, they know to substitute it in and figure it out. But sometimes their academic language is lacking. And the goal was for them to use academic language and explain what they know. What word am I talking about?
Standard form.
And why do we want to put it in standard form?
So you could be able to factor it.
Okay, so it's the first step before you factor. Vertex. Tell me more about the vertex.
It's the maximum or the lowest point of something, and you figure it out like by doing negative b divided by 2a, and f of x equals the rest of the equation, the a plus b plus c.
So you would substitute that in, but how do you know when it's a maximum or a minimum?
If it's positive, it's a maximum point. If it's negative, it's a minimum point.
It's not just regular bingo. The objective is for the students to learn. The math bingo, we're just using vocabulary words, giving out definitions, and for them to match it up, which is great for test-taking skills too, because they're learning how to eliminate the answers.
And Luis, what is a binomial?
When you have two solutions.
You have two solutions. Binomial?
A binomial is when you have two numbers, what's the name?
Okay, yes, that is to something. To what?
Luis, he struggles with the academic language. He's great at calculating. He loves to calculate. He loves math, the procedure part of it. And some of the concepts he's able to explain it, but he doesn't use the math terminology. I mean, I knew what he was trying to tell me, but he didn't use the correct language. So I went to another student.
Okay, someone help Luis out? Gilbert?
And that student was able to answer it. And then I went back to Luis. So he has another opportunity to use the academic language.
What is a binomial?
When you have two terms.
When the quadratic function has two terms. Good.
Evaluation and dissemination are key components of the Improving Teacher Quality Grant. We are developing a website as one way of accomplishing this. We hope the website and our results inspire others to focus on English learners in core content classrooms, collect data, and provide relevant professional development in strong district and university partnership.